Good morning to Dr. Zalita and my fellow friends. We are from Group 5 and we'll talk about dengue. My name is Naokopan and my group members are Li Chaoming, Li Jie, Li Zixuan, and Long Chi K. And today I will do some simple introduction about dengue. Dengue is a viral infection that is spread to humans most often through the bite of infected Aedes species female mosquito. And then there are about 4 billion people in the world population live at risk of getting dengue infection. Dengue virus is usually widely spread in tropical and subtropical regions where the climate is favorable for the mosquito population, and the diagram shows the tropical and subtropical region of the Earth. And then dengue outbreaks can be observed in many countries of the world, including the Americas, Africa, Pacific Islands, Asia, and Middle East. And the diagram shown is the weekly trend of reported dengue fever cases in Malaysia until epidemiological week of 19 in 2022 compared to 2021. The diagram shows there is a significant increase from epic week 12 to epic week 19 in 2022 compared to 2021. And that's all from me, and my group mates will explain the next subtopics about dengue. Thank you.
Cause of dengue. Dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever are caused by the dengue fever virus, DNV, and other virus of the family Flavividae. There are 4 different but related strains of virus called DNV1, DNV2, DNV3, and DNV4 serotypes. These are arboviruses which are transmitted by arthropods, especially mosquitoes and ticks. Mode of transmission. There are 3 main modes of transmission, which are female mosquitoes of genus Aedes, blood transmission, and vertical transmission. Dengue is transmitted by female mosquitoes of genus Aedes. Aedes aegypti is the most common vector, though Aedes albopictus, Aedes polynesensis, Aedes cutellaris are also known to transmit the disease. When a female mosquito sucks the blood of an infected human, the virus is ingested into its guts and then moved to salivary glands. The mosquito now is carrying DNV and able to transmit DNV for the rest of its life. The lifespan of the mosquito is typically about 1 month. But the vector bites an uninfected person, some saliva which contain DNV is ingested into the human as well. The person now is infected by DNV, resulting in suffering from dengue fever. Dengue fever is less commonly transmitted via the use of infected blood in transfusion or during organ transplantation. There are cases of vertical transmission, which an infected pregnant woman transmits the virus to the fetus in utero through placenta.
Good morning, Doctor. I am LEONG. I will be explaining about the signs and symptoms of dengue. Dengue symptoms usually begin from 4 to 6 days after the infection. When the symptoms do occur, we will be mistaken from other illness because they are quite same from each other. The most common symptoms of dengue are as follows, which are the high fever exceed 40 degrees Celsius, headache, and also the muscle, bone, and joint pain. Vomiting and nausea also the symptoms from dengue. Some people will experience rash on their hands too. Dengue can be mild or severe. Generally, the warning sign of dengue fever begins 24 to 48 hours after the fever goes away. The symptoms including pain in stomach or abdomen, repeating vomiting with dehydration. Lastly, dizziness also the symptom for severe dengue. It can cause low blood pressure for the patient. Severe dengue can be life-threatening within a few hours and usually require hospitalization. That's all for me. Thank you.
Good day to Dr. Zarita. My name is Li Zixuan. Now I will present about the infection mechanism of dengue. So firstly, we will see about the structure of dengue virus. So as we mentioned before that the dengue virus is known as DNV, and there are 4 different types of dengue virus, which are DNV 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so when we see the structure of dengue virus, this is the general structure, sources from internet. So we can see that there are 3 main structure genes called capsid, envelope, and membrane. These 3 genes are very important that play an important role in the infection mechanism. And also, virus contain genetic material called RNA, and the RNA is positively sensed single-stranded. Okay, what is meant by positively sensed? Positively sensed is that the RNA can be directly translated in the host cells. Okay. So there are two types of infection mechanism. First one is primary and second is secondary. Okay, first one for primary is the first time that people get infected dengue disease. Okay. The secondary is people already infected dengue disease. Now I will talk about the primary mechanism for dengue virus. So when there is Aedes mosquito infect bite our skin cell, then the infection occurs. So for the primary infection, there are primary infection means that the person is firstly bite by the mosquito and firstly get the dengue disease. So we view that the dengue virus contain two structures, envelope and also the capsid. So firstly, the envelope will bind toward the receptor called cornet receptor. The virus envelope will bind to the cornet receptor, okay, so that the virus can enter the cells. Okay, the process to enter the cell is called as receptor-mediated endocytosis. Okay, so when it enters the cell, it will form the structure, bubble-like structure called endosome, like this. When the formation of the endosome is formed, the hydrogen ion in the cell will pump into the endosome. And this causes the pH value decrease. Okay, when the pH value decrease, this will cause the envelope structure is change. The envelope structure is change. Okay, and release the capsid. The capsid is released. So these all are capsid. Okay. After that, the capsid is break down and then release out the viral RNA, the genetic material of dengue virus. Okay. After the viral RNA, as we know that the E is positively sensed. Positively sensed means that it can directly be translated. So it will go to the RER of the hostile endoplasmic reticulum, because we know that the transition component is ribosome, so it will bind to the ribosome, and then another component called tRNA. The tRNA is also play a major role in the translation process, so it will also bind toward the ribosome and then synthesize proteins and synthesize protein synthesis occur. And this protein synthesis will produce the sequence for new virus. These protein that produce are not benefit to human, but also we have to build up the new dengue virus. So there are two main components, also same as envelope protein and capsid protein. So the protein when the protein is produced, they have to aggregate first, because structure of virus protein is the circle shape, right? Is the circular shape. So it have to aggregate first and then form the structure of the dengue virus. So for the envelope protein, it will aggregate at the cytoplasmic region of ER. And for the capsid protein, it will aggregate at the lumen of ER. So where are the lumen? Lumen at here. At here. And where is the cytoplasmic region? At here. At here. Good. Okay. Then after they aggregate, then they will combine together, form the new dengue virus. Like that. And then the viral mRNA will pass, the RNA will get into the cell. Form the new dengue virus. But the dengue virus now is immature. It is immature yet. So it has to pass through Golgi apparatus for maturation, and then it will pass through the release out from the cell through endocytosis, and then it will infect another cells. So overall, these are the overall process for primary mechanism. Okay, so again, primary mechanism is the person who first get the dengue disease. Next, I will present about the secondary mechanism for dengue disease. So before enter mechanism, I will have to talk about the immune response first. So after the person is recovering from the first time dengue disease, there are memory B cells, and also Th cells, cytotoxin T cells occur inside our body. This means that our body already have the info about the dengue virus. So when another dengue virus is infected into our body, the memory B cell will be activated, produce antibody. For the Th cell, it will be activated, engulf the activated cell, right? So, but as we know that dengue virus contain 4 types of different serotypes, so there are 4 types of dengue virus, but the structure almost similar. So when there are another type of dengue virus that is different from the first time infection, the immune response cannot properly kill the virus. to fight the virus. This is due to the mechanism called ADE, antibody-dependent enhancement. Okay. This antibody-dependent enhancement make the virus dengue easier enter into the cells. Okay, so how the mechanism back? So this antibody-dependent enhancement is majorly play a role in antibody. So the antibody that probably in fighting dengue is IgG. So when the IgG-white antibody detect that is the dengue virus, okay, it will be activated and be produced from memory B cell, and then got the antibody, and then the antibody will bind to the dengue virus like that. Okay, but the antibody cannot neutralize the virus because they are totally different stereotype. So antibody cannot function. It only can bind. But this kind of binding already help the dengue virus easier enter the cell compared to the primary infection. Why? Because our cells contain the receptor called FC receptor. Okay. This receptor normally occur from the cell like monocyte, macrophages, and dendritic cells. These all cells are play major role in the immune response. So that when they infected this cell, so bind to the receptor, in fact, it will make the dengue virus easier enter the cells more easier compared to the primary. So when it's entered, the mechanism same as the primary. It will be translated and then produce more and more dengue virus to infect another cells. So this is the reason why the person who get the second infection dengue will get the more worse symptom than the primary one. The first reason is due to the ADE mechanism. The antibody bind to the virus and it will make virus easier enter the cell. The second reason is the virus bind the virus enter the cell is macrophages, like bound the cell that play important role in the immune response.
Good morning, doctor. I'm Li Jiaying, and I'm going to present about the prevention and treatment for dengue fever. So, what is the treatment and prevention for dengue fever? For treatment, there are no specific antibiotics for dengue fever. So, the patients have to be closely monitored and given the following supportive treatment, like to have a good bed rest, through the pills either oral or intravenous to prevent dehydration, taking acetaminophen or paracetamol for high fever. This is the acetaminophen, but this is the paracetamol. And frequent sponging down of the body that helps to bring the body temperature down. The best method for prevention is to cut the transmission cycle, that is by mosquito eradication. This is done by adding larvicide added to water containers and magma pond, as Aedes lay eggs in standard clear water. And biological control by introducing of larva-eating fish in ponds, and fogging with insecticide in dengue-stricken area. Other than that, people can also prevent being bitten by mosquito by adding insect screen on doors and windows, using losing clothing that covers the whole body, applying mosquito repellent on exposed skin when outdoors, and lighting mosquito coils or using electric rubber maps. So this is all from us. Thank you.